It's round 2 of the Mailbag Royal Rumble. Big Show Matt Flusk is back for day 2 after a convincing win. A last-minute win, but quite convincing in a way. Routine, I think, quite a routine win. It was Everton at Sheffield United. It was quite close, but we were never in any danger of not winning, I don't think, mate. Just because you won yesterday as well, you start off with a point. You're frantically thinking to yourself, we are coming back again tomorrow. I'm going to throw it. And the challenges today are Dan Vane, Adam Sutton, and Jack Carlile. We'll get straight into it, lads. So the way this works is I've got one hot topic question, 2 Ask Us Anything, and 2 true or false questions. We'll kick off with the hot topic. This is based on a news story from October. If you know the answer, shout the name of a random Everton player, get to answer it first. If you get it right, you get a point. Simple as that. That's how it goes. Same as the usual Mailbag rules. So, based on a story from October, what's the worst name anything has ever been given?
John Oster.
Who was that? John Oster? I remember thinking he was going to be absolutely brilliant.
So did he.
But then, Matt, what story is this from?
Is this Project Big Picture?
Is Operation Big Picture. It's another point. You screaming into a lead there, fella. Oh, shit. Yeah.
It feels like a lifetime ago, that, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah, I can't believe it was only October.
Oh, God.
When the Reds were basically trying to buy votes in the Football League. Yeah, that's the right answer. Matt, have you got any advance on Project Big Picture on the worst name ever given to anything?
Oh, God. I mean, take your pick. At the moment, one that's really bugging me, and I think I tweeted about this today, is obviously all the Brexit things going on. And the press keep talking about this star chamber of MPs who are talking about this deal. And if they weren't already like a bit of a cult, they sound like even more of one then, don't they? I mean, you just imagine a load of guys sat in a planetarium or something in, silly little cloaks with signs saying, "We demand to be taken seriously." We thought that was good, Brandon. It's just...
Star Chamber.
Yeah, they call themselves the Star Chamber. It's like a little close-knit group of them within that research group that they call themselves.
Any names of people who's in it?
Yeah, it's just its usual ones like that Brady guy and Mark Francois, who we're allowed to say his name now because...
he's back. Penfold's back, yeah.
There's no longer any allegedly's hanging around him, apparently. So.
Oh, okay. Was it the ERG who called themselves the Grand Wizards? That was probably the worst name for anything ever.
I think it might have been, yeah, actually.
Absolute connotations of that, a Grand Wizard. You can't really say that, mate. Yeah, horrific. Sorry for taking anyone's answer there, by the way. I'll come to you next.
I think I'm going to go down the Everton route for this. At first, the one I come to was Peanuts, for bad Everton nicknames and people that have had rogue shouts. But I'm going to actually steal Owen Park's answer from months ago. And I can't say I've heard it myself, but I've got to take his word for it. And it's Seamus Coleman being referred to as 60. I don't know if I could have gone back to the ground. This is even before COVID, if I would have heard that. So it's certainly not Park M behaviour to give people positive nicknames in any way. So I'd say 60.
I think about that,
It's difficult not to.
It's
every time I see him now, I'm like, I just can't take the fella seriously. And that's not to do with the cup there. It's just the fact that there's somebody that's still walking amongst us that refers to a fella by the monetary part of what he was signed for. Like, it is where we are. It's 2020, isn't it? So,
I mean, there have been worse things in 2020, but probably not by much, if I'm honest.
No, it's touch and go, isn't it? There's not much in it.
Yeah. Adam?
Mine's a bit of a weird one, actually. So the company I work for is called Collab Co. And there is a 4th place in X Factor or Britain's Got Talent opera group called Collab Bro, I think. He must have had about 4 days of fame. But for like a strange period of time when I was like, whilst I was working, we'd get like emails through and like calls through, like, I want to book tickets for your concert. And like, there was one woman who was convinced that she was talking to, the tour manager for Calabro, but it was me, marketing manager for Calabco. I couldn't tell her that it wasn't us. And she was like, well, when are the tickets out? When can I do this? When can I book it? Are you coming to Manchester? And I was like, yeah, it ruined my, it was like, must have been for like I imagine when they were touring, for 2 weeks of my life, must have had 10 emails and 15 calls from old women and fellas wanting to go and see Calabro. But yeah, missing a C and replacing it with an R, and it's a terrible name. And I think they were terrible. I've never listened to them, but I've never heard of them since. So
I do like how you went with it though.
But the thing is, though, I didn't go with it.
She just wouldn't listen. It's like that fella called John Lewis. He's got a Twitter account at John Lewis, and he just gets badgered every single Christmas.
Yeah.
People
I think Ryan, one of the other Blue Room lads, he must get terrible, especially when Ryan Reynolds' new films come out or something. He must get.
I think he got a blue tick on the back of that, didn't he?
Did he? To say it wasn't.
He's got a tick. Yeah, I think so. Just to confuse matters even more, he's got a tick.
I wonder if Calabro are verified. Come get us a tick on Twitter. I'll have to
look into that after the show. Go
ahead. Worst name. It's got to be Anusol for pile cream.
Kind of.
It's just like, you've already got an indignified condition that's causing you physical pain, embarrassment, and general, uncomfortable daily ablutions. And then some joker at, some GlaxoSmithKline and Wellcome or whatever has turned around and gone, this geezer's got a burning bumhole. So if he wants relief from that, I'm going to make him go into a shop and ask for something called Anusol. It's just grim. It's just, you might as well call it bum relief or, it's just terrible. It's just awful, man.
It's a fair point. It is adding a certain level of indignity to the pain, isn't it? I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
I just thought, well,
you might as well just go. It's like if you had to go into a pharmacist and ask for something called, like, scrapey bollock wax or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just horrific. And someone somewhere came up with that name and has basically not stopped laughing ever since.
Yeah, can I have
I've probably got piles through the
STD, something like that.
The karma is the person who came up with that name has probably given themselves piles laughing at their own smugness.
You would like to think so, wouldn't you? Dan, you're going to have to get the point of that. I think 60 was very, 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 very close. But I think your explanation there just put me around there, Dan. That was a pretty brutal trick. Some marketing Bob played there. But 60 is absolutely appalling. I think we all need to bully this fella if we ever. Do you reckon it's Owen? Do you reckon Owen?
I think there's a chance. Like Owen's alter ego, I reckon that's the sort.
Yeah. He was meant to be on tonight, Owen, but he bottled it.
It could be my dad.
He's running around shouting 60 at people, that's why.
It could be your dad.
Seriously,
Never struck me as the sort of person to shout that, mate.
He is a dad, though.
Okay. So am I.
Exactly.
I am literally a park end dad. So what does that make me, dad? A park end
dad?
Like a grand wizard.
And he is a
10 minutes in, it's come full circle.
Well.
What's that?
He is a park end dad, isn't he?
Yeah.
Park end dad.
Bloody hell.
It's a park ender's dars. Dar.
Dar's a state of mind, I think, like a wool.
Yeah, that's true.
Mind. It's not an age or a geographical thing.
I'm excited for it, mate. I'm actually excited to become a dar and then like realise what I'm saying when I'm actually saying dad things.
Then you're like, oh, I'm here now, yeah.
Oh yeah, you get no self-awareness with it. Don't worry.
Your son goes like,
The red up there.
Yeah.
Dad, he's not called Calvert Lewis.
Dad before your time.
Right. On to ask us anything before the Everton Dars go mad, because I'm sure they all listen. Anything now. I'll just go round from Dan that way. So that goes Dan, Adam, Jack, and Matt on my screen. Ask us anything. Back in May, Foxy asked us, what has been your biggest blag in life? Could be a flight or a hotel upgrade, backstage at a gig, job, anything. Dan, I'm sure you've got an absolute worldie for this.
Anybody that follows my Twitter knows that I've made a 25-year career out of being an almost world-class blagger. My entire brewing career has been based on a blag, but my blag's going to be a little bit on topic with the news coming out of France this afternoon, which is that the great Pierre Cardin has died at the grand old age of 98, I believe. And back in 2003, I got a phone call from a mate of mine that had directed a film called One Love, featuring a very young Idris Elba. And he asked me if I was doing anything at the weekend. And if I could get a flight to Nice, I could join him at the Cannes Film Festival, where they were premiering the film. And back in 2003, you could get to Nice for about 20 quid on EasyJet. So I did. Landed in Nice, got a car down to Cannes, yada, 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 yada. And then one night, I was in a bar, and my mate's old college friend, who is now a paparazzi photographer, asked us if we wanted to go to a party in the Palace of Bubbles.
Sounds very West Ham to me.
The Palace of Bubbles. If the Palace of Bubbles, if you Google it, is Pierre Cardin's house. And it took 10 years to build. It's embedded into a cliff above Cannes and is a series of, I think it's about 25 terracotta concrete bubbles. And in 2003, it was the premiere of Matrix 2. And I went to the Matrix 2 after party at the Palace of Bubbles, which is Pierre Cardin's gaff. And I don't remember leaving there. I remember the hangover vividly. And I think when I eventually write my memoir, it's going to be called Leaving the Palace of Bubbles.
Should we all just jib this question now?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I was thinking if any of my mates say what you're doing at the weekend, it's like fancy a bevvy in like it's that is some story, that mate. Adam, biggest blag.
I have to think of something now because mine just doesn't sound like a blag anymore. It sounds like fucking boring bastard. When I was
Was it being part of Calibro? Was that your biggest blag?
Probably, yeah. Yes, I once sold 50 tickets to a concert that didn't exist. But I think I must have been like 10, 11. And me and my dad went to the Birmingham like motor show event or something. I don't like cars or bikes or anything. My dad didn't either, so I think he must have got free tickets or something. Which was the first blag. And there was like a real F1 car, like that you sat in and played the new Formula One like game, whatever it was. And like there was like lads going there who obviously like bang into cars and like love the F1 and that. And they were getting all like really decent times. And I was like, I remember being sat on I was too small to actually sit in the car and reach the steering wheel. So I was sat on my dad's knee playing. And I've randomly just like pulled into the pit lane. And as I've pulled in, it's like reset the time that I was doing. So I pulled back out the pit lane and just like finished the lap. And I must have gone like 3 minutes less than everyone else. And they're all like, but like, because it like they didn't realize what I'd gone on, they were all like, oh my God, like that's like the world record time. And I was like, don't know what I've done there. So I got a free copy of the game, a brand new PlayStation, and invited to Silverstone. I was like, what? The first two I happily took, but the third one, I said, I give it to what, like, I think my dad was like, we can't, like, that's basically robbing someone though. So like one of the F1 lovers, we were like, no, he can go instead, like, because he wants to go to a track and hear loud things for a couple of hours. I probably would go now, come to think of it, for the day out, but yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea back then. But yeah, free PlayStation and a version of the F1 game that I never put in and played once. So that's my best blag.
Well, to be honest, you'd have pissed it anyway, wouldn't you, by the sound of it?
Pointless playing it, mate, but I completed it. Like Jay from the In-Betweeners.
Jack?
I think this is going to go down in order of like impressiveness now. So my one's even more boring. Although it did happen twice in years 3 and years 4 in primary school. They used to have a talent show like at the end of every sort of school year for like the whole of the school. And the primary school that I went to was like, I think at one point it was like the 3rd biggest in Europe. That's nothing to brag about. There's just a lot of kids in Wallasey that seemingly go to the same primary school. And for 2 years on the run, and Tom Bratley will vouch me on this, I won the talent show, singing a song from the Blues Brothers without actually singing a word. If you've seen the film, you would be familiar with the bit towards the end when Cab Calloway does Minnie the Moocher. I basically done that twice without singing a word, dressed up in full Blues Brothers get-up, and won it twice, mouthing it. And there is video footage somewhere of one of the years. I think it's when I'm in year 4 doing it. You didn't win anything. There was no prize. There was no certificate. It was just for the accolade of winning the talent show. So as I say, it's certainly gone down in impressiveness, but it happened nonetheless without me singing a word other than saying my name and the class I was in.
There's got to be a plaque up at the school now because of that, though.
I really hope so. I really do. But yeah, nonetheless, that's still the most thing of blag that come to mind.
So you got to consider the age as well. It's a cracking blag.
Yeah, fair tackle. Yeah, you're doing a better job at selling it than I am.
I don't want to say the one-trick pony or anything, but Matt, what's your best blag?
I think Jack's right in terms of this going downhill in terms of interest, and because my one, the only one I can think of is last year, blagging my way into the try and stay awake, lads. The election count last year after the local elections. I was told to meet someone there to pick up a pass to get in because you had to be on the list, but they weren't there. So I was just sort of stood outside trying to text people. And then I spotted I won't name them, but a former MP now, who's now retired. And I thought, oh, here we go then. So I had a bit of a flirt, and he went inside.
I was thinking Mark Francois for a minute.
No. I had a bit of a flirt, and then he dipped inside and he got me a pass. And then I just spent about 5 hours till the early hours of the morning just walking around, just pottering about and winding a couple of people up and, watching Joe Anderson do his usual thing. Yeah. I mean, we're all just going through the motions here, aren't we, after Dan? Like,
Tell you what, it's a very Matt Flusk blag, that, though.
Yeah, no, very on brand.
I tell you what, then you can all have a point for your blags because they're all impressive in their own ways. But Dan gets 2 points for this, which is
fair tackle.
We could get more, to be honest.
All I'm happy about nowadays is I haven't done a mailbag in a while, but it seems that you've become fair with the point system, and I'm happy to lose points to people who deserve it because in years gone by that hasn't been the case actually. So
you'd lose points on who shouted loudest.
My scoring system gets called into question all the time.
If you were on 0, you just got a point, whatever answer you used to say at one point.
Well, it had to keep it interesting till the end, didn't I? People watch for that tension at the end where it could go either way. You don't want someone running away with a 3-goal lead. Anyway, back to March, Matt Flusk asked, it's budget week. The Chancellor's allowed to have a bevvy in the Commons as he gives his speech. What would yours be? So go ahead, Matt, you can kick off with this one.
I think we've got to pay tribute to our Lord and Saviour, Lord Samuel, this week and say pint of wine. Big pint of Chardonnay. couple of crisps on the
Definitely
side.
Chardonnay, wouldn't
Need
it?
some nibbles, like just an open bag of cheese and onion on the dispatch box.
Tell you what, he wouldn't open it though. For the risk that people might dip in. Opening the top and turning it to himself, definitely. Jack, in the Commons, what you drink?
I think to have to share a room with some of them people, I'd have to get very, very drunk very, very quickly. So it'd be my old uni days drink of one of the 2-pint cups with about 3/4 Frosty Jack and 1/4 of Robinson's apple and blackcurrant. Give it a little stir and then try and drink it before I finish the speech. End up gobbing off and probably get expelled. But yeah, that would probably be the drink of choice.
It'd be worth it though, wouldn't it?
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Adam, what are you drinking?
I'd probably go with a Salt Dog Stein because the glasses are very heavy and anyone who's just chatting rubbish would get one swiftly to the back of the head after I've finished it, maybe halfway through. But yeah, I think if you downed one of them, which I probably would do, same reason for Jack, really, just to get through it and be that drunk I can't hear anyone speaking. Yeah, just down a Stein and then start throwing it about.
It's a shout that, isn't it? That's the thing in Germany, when you get the Stein and you think, right, can we really whack this together? And you actually can. And it's about, it's like, you'd be fucked if it didn't. Because you're just going to be like glass and beer everywhere, but you still try it anyway. Dan?
I think I'd have to rack out the Malibombs, I think, which is a sort of an invention of our bar. We do them in our bar. We should be doing them on New Year's Eve, but, tier 4 and all that. So we make a pineapple sour beer, and it's only like 3.5%, 4%. And you rack it out into whiskey tumblers on the bar, and then you line up a load of Malibu shots, and it's like a sort of 30-second holiday in Barbados. It's like being sprayed in the eyes with suntan lotion by Rihanna.
I'm even more gutted. I got 2 troppies in my case of XL, and it did Malibu, so I just drank them, and I missed out on getting a 440 can, a 440 ml can, which is what we sell it in, will do you 3 Malibombs basically. But yeah, no night cannot be resolved by a 25 Malibombs racked out on a bar. That's to order some more.
It oils the wheels of commerce.
But not this new year, unfortunately. What a load of shite. Adam, we're going to have to give you the point just for the insertion of violence with the alcohol, which, it's not a bad thing in that instance if you're in the Commons. And that's it for Ask Us Anything. So we're on to true or false. Matt's on 3, Jack's on 1, Dan's on 3, Adam's on 2. Jack, you can still pull this round because we've got 2 true or false questions. So here we go. So remember, it's a T sign for true. It's a sideways V. With either hand is fine. Or a V sign, whatever you want. False. So we'll kick off with the first one. I'll write them in the right order this time as well, because last night I wrote them backwards and got myself confused. Anyway, first one. The Great Wall of China is longer than the distance between London and Beijing. True. That says false. Adam says false. Okay. And the second one, the unicorn is a national animal of Scotland. Ooh, that goes true. Oh, that's a fall. It's a clean sweep of trues for that one. So, first up, the Great Wall of China is longer than the distance between London and Beijing. London to Beijing is 8,136 kilometres. The Great Wall of China is 21,196 kilometres. That's some good trivia right there. And the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. I can't remember why, but it is. So the scores there. Matt gets another 1. Hold on. Yeah, true. Jack gets another 1. Both right. 1 right. That makes Dan tonight's winner. 5 points. Matt got 4. Jack got 2. Dan got 5. Adam got 3. So Dan, will you be able to make it to the next round of the Royal Rumble?
Of course.
Amazing. That will be tomorrow. Matt, commiserations, mate. It was a good 2-game run. Adam, Jack, thanks for coming on. Thanks to everyone for coming on.
It was a pleasure.
Back tomorrow with round 3. And I think there's only 3 people coming on that one. So we'll see how that goes. But
Get Mike back.
That's all for tonight's Royal Rumble. What's that? What happened there?
Get Mike back.
Get Mike back. It's a possibility. Right, we will catch you tomorrow for round 3 of the 2020 Royal Rumble.